Hello, Steve White, Steve White's 89. Just a little bit of an update on He-Man Master Universe Revelation Part 2. It is absolutely bombing on Netflix. It hasn't even made the top 10. Now, Kevin Smith was brave enough to go on Twitter and actually talk about this, and he made a tweet that's sort of gotten some attention. He said, "Means the world, or rather the universe. My likes are filled with love for Masters of the Universe Revelation. After part 1, I had to wade through some bile to read positive reactions, but since part 2 dropped, the anger directed at me in July seems to have subsided. Thumbs up for season 2. So yeah, basically he was saying, I'm not getting as much hate, I'm not getting as much criticism and attacks. Obviously people must like season 2 more, it must be more well received. No, Kevin, people just don't care. You did the bait and switch, you sucked people in because they thought they were going to get a He-Man series. Then they thought maybe they weren't going to, but they still stuck around just to see. And they didn't get a He-Man series. They got a Teela and Evil Lyn, what do you call it? When you do a series off a series, a spin-off. I can't believe I forgot that. You basically got a Teela and Evil Lyn spin-off instead, and people weren't happy with that. They complained, they attacked you, and they left. And even I think Rotten Tomatoes only had like a few critic reviews. Even the critics couldn't even be bothered reviewing it. So it's a fairly sad state of affairs, and he's bragging about it like, I'm getting so much more positive feedback. Yeah, because no one cares enough to actually complain. They walked away. I mean, like last time it was in the top 10, not for a long time, but it was in the top 10. I think it got in the top 10 on the hope it would be good, and then people started watching it, and the bad reviews and the bad criticism came out, and then it dropped off pretty quick. This one didn't even get in the top 10. No one cared. All the people who tuned in, who got burned, didn't tune back in the second time. Now, I watched it because I wanted to be able to review it and I wanted to see what happened. But, yeah, it's a fairly sad state of affairs when you have to brag about the fact your show is getting less attention because some of that attention is positive. Because you got so much negative attention before and you still don't get what that means. And he's acting like he's surprised, like he didn't know this was going to happen. Like, how could a man who was part of the comic and critics, like industry for all this time, not understand how fans would receive this new series and the reaction, and then his reaction to them, attacking them and trying to cover things up, and he even admitted that. He said that there were other rumours about the show he didn't want out, and he was focusing on Clownfish and their post to try and distract from that, and so forth. So it was just a big, huge mess. And there are a lot of problems with the show. In some ways it was better because it focused more on Adam and the sort of characters we know more, but it still was more about Teela and Evil Lyn than He-Man, and this promised final battle, we never really got it because the real battle was between Evil Lyn and Teela, because Evil Lyn was the one with the power, not Skeletor. He had been sort of castrated as, Skelegod, so by Evil Lyn. So, I mean, yes, Kevin Smith didn't lie when he said they would fight, but he kind of lied by omission by not mentioning the fact that Skeletor had lost the power of Grayskull and it wasn't really the battle it was meant to be anymore. So the whole bunch of issues with the show. I might do a later review because I'm actually fairly positive and I tend to focus more on the good things when I'm watching something, and I do tend to enjoy things, and it's not until I actually take a critical look at them that I start to see where they fall apart. So I wasn't as harsh on the show as I probably should have been when I watched the first half. I had some issues with it, but I've watched a bunch of reviews from other people, and I'm like, that yes, it did do that. It did do that. Okay, how did I miss that? Okay, I need to talk about that. So I'll probably do a later distance review, like having had some time to sit back from it. I might watch it again. So yeah, because Netflix isn't getting my views, so I can watch it again for a critical, another further critical analysis, because it was a bit rushed the first time. But yeah, so it's just funny to see Kevin Smith going online saying, hey, I'm getting all these great reviews, because there's less reviews in general because people aren't watching the show, and he has killed a lot of the interest in the show with the bait and switch tactic and so forth. Although in his only defence, a lot of the decisions, I was going to say most, but a lot of the decisions that people had problems with were made before he came on the show. So he didn't actually have as much input in it as in its direction and so forth, as was sort of implied in the beginning. But still, he still went with it. He still, trashed people over it and so forth. So, yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. Bye.